I'm Rick Kupchella for Kevin McDowell.
And I'm Kelly Hudson for Joan Steffen. Just ahead on News 11, a second Wisconsin man dies during training exercises in Pensacola, Florida.
MTC union workers began 2 days of voting on whether to walk off their jobs as early as Wednesday.
National Pride Day is celebrated for gays and lesbians across the country, including here in Minneapolis.
And the St. Paul Derby may take on a new look next time around.
And in sports, Pete Rose gets a reprieve. News 11 is next.
If you're using newspapers to hit the Twin Cities market, you'll miss the mark more than half of the time. Television, on the other hand, always makes an impact. TV advertising, twice the audience of newspaper, twice the impact.
You'll never believe what's waiting for you. You'll never forget all the things that you'll do at Valleyfair. Valleyfair. Show us what you got. Show us what you really got now. Excalibur. Valleyfair is hot. Come to Valleyfair.
Don't forget, fireworks on July 4th.
Not long ago, an unusual sound was heard in 170 homes in a town in Minnesota. Unusual because up until then, there were 170 fewer alarm clocks going off and 170 fewer people going off to work. You might not think opening one small plant could have this kind of effect on a town, unless, of course, you lived there or worked on the First Bank's team that helped make it possible.
Twin Cities' most watched newscast, News 11. With Joan Steffen, Kevin McDowell, Randy Shaver on sports, and meteorologist Dennis Felkin.
Good evening. Joan and Kevin have the night off. Topping tonight's News 11, a second naval training accident in just over a year at the Pensacola Naval Air Station in Florida, and it hits close to home again.
A Wisconsin man has died during training exercises, ironically in the same pool in which another Wisconsin man died 15 months ago.
The first incident happened in March of 1988. 19-year-old Lee Marecki of Appleton, Wisconsin, suffered a fear-induced heart attack while undergoing naval training exercises at the Pensacola facility. Last Friday, the second incident occurred. 22-year-old Michael Feedy of Altoona, Wisconsin, was participating in a drill in the pool. It was a drill he did not survive. Navy officers say they were teaching 22-year-old Michael Feedy how to survive a call for abandoned ship. In the exercise, he had to jump from a tower and swim a short distance underwater in this pool. The officers say he finished the swim, stepped out of the pool, and collapsed. In a preliminary autopsy, the official cause of death is severe swelling of the brain. The man's family says he was an excellent swimmer, and with the information provided by the Navy, they say there appears to be no foul play. Feedy is shown here in jersey number 44. He's remembered for his athletic and academic talent.
Mike was not what you would call a great gifted athlete. Like so many things in life, Mike succeeded in athletics because of his attitude, whether it be in basketball or football, and his determination.
Feedy left high school as class valedictorian and all-conference defensive player on the football team. He's remembered for his leadership and friendship.
It really strikes close to home. I mean, you graduate with a guy and you expect, like next year's our 5th reunion.
The Navy is launching its own investigation into Feedy's death. Final autopsy results aren't due for several weeks. Feedy was scheduled to return to Wisconsin after the swimming program to complete an engineering degree at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. He was working toward a career as a naval aviator.
Tonight it looks like MTC bus drivers are going to reject the Transit Commission's latest contract offer and go on strike within the next few days. Under the proposal, the drivers would get wage increases each of the next 3 years. But union leaders want fewer part-timers and more opportunities for overtime pay than the commission has proposed. The MTC's 1,400 drivers and 600 other union workers began voting on the list's latest offer this afternoon. The vast majority of them who revealed their ballots voted no, rejecting the new proposal.
Until they come up with something better. Every time they submit a contract like that, we're going to be voting to go on strike.
Members have until tomorrow evening at 5 to vote, and if the contract is rejected, union leaders could set a strike date for as early as Wednesday.
Across the U.S. today, gays and lesbians celebrated National Pride Day. In Minneapolis, more than 5,000 people showed up for the 11th annual parade and party. Participants say the parade lets them show their solidarity and diversity.
Well, this is actually my first Pride March. It's my first year out as a gay man, and I feel it's real important to take a public demonstration on pride in who I am.
Today's events mark the 20th anniversary of the gay movement in America.
A domestic dispute turned violent this afternoon in Brooklyn Park when a father pulled a gun on his family. Police were called to the home at 8224 89th Avenue North just after 1. When they arrived, police say they found Vince Desiak holed up with his son in a barn. Other family members managed to escape through windows. Desiak was persuaded to surrender and was taken into custody. The son was not hurt, but several police officers received slight injuries during the arrest.
In Earthscope tonight, the third and final test results from the sewage-infested Lake Johanna are due back tomorrow. The beach was shut down Tuesday after 2 boys spotted the sewage spewing from a buried pipe nearby. Ramsey County officials conducted 3 bacteria tests to determine what, if any, harm was done. Results from 2 of the lab tests came back Friday and showed acceptable lake bacteria levels.
Also in Earthscope, efforts are underway to keep thousands of gallons of heavy heating oil that spilled yesterday in the Delaware River from washing ashore. Some of the 800,000 gallons have already found its way onto Pennsylvania and Delaware shores despite the effort. But there's better luck with the spill off the coast of Rhode Island. Nature is dispersing most of the 500,000 gallons that spilled Friday when a tanker hit a reef. And in Texas, favorable winds have helped with an oil spill cleanup at the mouth of the Houston ship channel. Most of the 250,000 gallon spills have been corralled in the channel and away from the Galveston Bay. The spill occurred when an oil barge and a ship collided Friday.
It's become the most prestigious race in Canterburry Downs racing season. The 4th running of the $300,000 St. Paul Derby was the premier race for its Downs goers this afternoon. But News 11's Christy Yarn says today's race may be the end of the St. Paul Derby as we know it.
An estimated crowd of 16,000 turned out for the 4th and possibly final running of the St. Paul Derby. Plans are underway to revamp Derby weekend at the Downs. Track officials say shifting corporate sponsorship from 10 or 15 St. Paul companies to a state or even national base will make the 3-day event bigger and hopefully better.
What I'm looking at is maybe a longer Derby week, for example, that may have more festivals associated with it, not unlike the Kentucky Derby Festival, which is a week-long major celebration.
The excitement of Derby weekend attracts the finest horses and jockeys, and those who support changing the Derby say it will only improve its prestige on the racing circuit.
Today also marks a first at Canterbury Downs, the first simulcast of a Canterbury Downs race. That means when this crowd hears,
"They're all in line, and they're off,"
the sound will echo round the country to 11 other horse racing tracks. Canterbury hopes to profit from out-of-state betting on the simulcast.
Typically, 10 cents on every dollar that is wagered out of state on this race will come to the track to be split between the horsemen and the track.
McWilliams hopes the Derby simulcast will bring in an extra $60,000. Changing operations at Canterbury should not only help races like the St. Paul Derby, but should also help put the financially troubled Downs back on track. In Shakopee, Christy Arndt, News 11.
Canterbury officials will address specific changes needed in the St. Paul Derby later this week when the final results of the 4th Derby weekend are tallied.
KARE-11's Bike Classic, a 2-day trek from Mendota Heights to La Crosse, Wisconsin, came to a close today, but with fewer riders than it started with. Rain forced a number of riders to bow out, but others braved the evils of Mother Nature and pedaled the entire 160 miles.
There's a lot more to come on News 11. Wet weather will kick off the work week. Sunny Haus will have a forecast.
Also, government leaders in China stage a get-tough stance against each other.
In the extra, picture-perfect boundary waters provide a picture-perfect backdrop for one couple.
And life looks a little rosier for Pete as he wins a judge's support. Stay with us.
Car buyers, don't get stuck paying sticker.
Better than ever.
An independent survey found that you could own the best-built American car, Buick LeSabre, for $2,000 below sticker price, just $13,943. And that's not a stripped-down LeSabre. You get air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, rear defrost, tilt steering, cruise control, and more. Other dealers may be dealing, but with Buick, you know the savings up front, as much as $2,000.
The great American road belongs to Buick.
There's a special corner of Canada where nature itself, a moosehead cloud, a crystal lake, inspires us to reach for a world-class beer called Moosehead, the legend and the brilliant new light. Either way, reach for the moose.
Menards All-American Sale is bursting with savings. Texaco's Haviland Supreme 10W30 and 10W40 motor oil is on sale for just 54 cents a quart after mail-in rebate. Menards has a powerful selection of Campbell Hausfeld air compressors on sale, like this handy one-horse Power Pal, on sale at Menards for just $188. It's ideal for the workshop. That's all-American value at Menards All-American Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
You know, ball players learn superstitions early. Some guys rub their bats for luck.
Good kiss.
Some guys always wear rally hats. Others pat the catcher's head. Me, I take my relief pitcher to Pizza Hut before every game.
Now buy a Pizza Hut pizza and get a relief pitcher for just $2.49. Then get free Pepsi fill-ups all summer with any dinner-sized pizza to go. Every pitcher sold helps support Little League of America.
With a great relief pitcher, maybe you don't need superstitions.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
I'm so happy that you will be here soon. Love, food.
Family Matters on KARE-11.
A Minneapolis-based company which recently purchased the Chanhassen Dinner Theater may have new owners soon. A bid has been placed for the International Broadcasting Corporation by J&T Investors of Atlanta. The company is offering $16 a share to acquire the entertainment company. J&T calls it a friendly offer. IBC officials say they'll carefully review it.
In Datelines tonight, Greek Premier Andreas Papandreou took a turn for the worst in an Athens hospital overnight. Papandreou's ex-wife, his current girlfriend, and children rushed to the hospital to be by his side. Hospital officials say the 70-year-old politician's condition is now improving. He's listed in serious but stable condition. Papandreou developed heart and kidney complications after being hospitalized originally for pneumonia. 21 students have been arrested in Seoul, South Korea, following police raids at a university campus. The youths are accused of organizing violent anti-government protests. Authorities in Seoul say hundreds of firebombs and clubs were seized during the raid at Hanyang University. They accuse the students of using the confiscated items during clashes at 2 government facilities this weekend. And weeks after similar anti-government protests in China, members of that country's Communist Party are now looking for dissidents among its rank and file. The party is now urging members to turn in other members who supported the democracy movement. This action coincides with the removal of General Secretary Zhao Zhang from office yesterday. Sunny House.
Sunny.
Not a bad evening, huh? After kind of a soggy start this morning.
Sure did shape up, didn't it?
But we might not want to tuck the old umbrellas away too soon because tomorrow could be a little soggy in the afternoon. Upper-level storm scooting in from the Dakotas. Pretty impressive, too. Has the potential to stir up some wicked weather, and in fact, it's in the process of doing so, but not close to home. No threats in the immediate future, at least. But here's how it looked overnight last night. Those big, ominous red and orange blobs coming in from the south and west of us, depositing quite a bit of helpful rain in areas where they need it the most, as a matter of fact. Now some big storms firing up over the Dakotas, and that's the activity that's going to try to sneak in here sometime after 3 o'clock or so this morning. We'll take a look at the rain totals overnight last night, and there you can see some of the heavier rains around Alexandria, Fargo, North Dakota, up into International Falls, better than a ½ inch, and down in places like Des Moines, they had an inch or better in southwestern Iowa. And flash flood watches are in effect there overnight tonight. Any little rain that they get could accelerate the problem. Some patches of thunderstorm activity out there right now over the Dakotas. The cool spot 61 in Duluth, 76 the warm spot in Des Moines, and we're currently at 73 degrees. Here's what happened today, 64, the overnight low. The high today, 82 degrees. We snuck up there with that late afternoon sunshine heating. Totally, we got 31/100ths of an inch of precipitation. Right now, partly cloudy, 73. North winds at 6 miles an hour. The dew point, 65 degrees, humidity 76%, and the pressure's on the rise at 29.92. Well, radar overnight, big storms over the Gulf of Mexico. As a matter of fact, a tropical depression bringing 5-inch rains to places like Galveston, maybe another 5 inches there before it's all said and done. And there are the big thunderstorms firing up over eastern Colorado and the western part of Nebraska and Kansas. Tornado watch is in effect there until 1 o'clock, and that's some of the activity that should spill up here. I don't expect any of that kind of activity. There already has been some tornadoes on the ground around North Platte, Nebraska, but I think that should stay down to the south of us. High temps today, lots of warm, sultry, unstable air over the south, to say the least. Tropical environment down there, colliding with some cooler air up to the north and west of us. That sharp temperature extreme fueling that big thunderstorm. And there you can see it right there. The low pressure center will plunge down to the south and east, stir up our weather tomorrow, keep the clouds in here, and intermittently the showers and thunderstorms, especially later in the day. And high pressure will finally come to the rescue, it looks like, by Tuesday and clear out our skies. We'll take a look at 3D, and you can see the clouds on the increase from the west of us. They'll spill in here later tonight. Clouds should increase about midnight or so, and the rains probably won't fire up until sometime after that, about 3 o'clock. We'll put it all into English here for you in just a couple of minutes.
What's hotter than hot? Pontiac. Pontiac steals Ford's thunder, and Grand Prix makes it happen.
Hotter than hot.
Grand Prix turns up the heat even more with up to $1,000 cash back or 2.9 APR GMAC financing.
Hotter than hot.
The exciting new Grand Prix LE has a sticker price over $1,800 less than Thunderbird LX.
Hotter than hot.
When Ford buyers compare Grand Prix, they get the fever. Pontiac fever. See your Pontiac excitement dealers now.
Since I met you, baby, my whole life has changed. Since I met you, baby, my whole life has changed. And everybody tells me that I am not the same.
I love my new gas dryer. It has automatic temperature control that pampers laundry, makes clothes feel softer. Gas dries fast, and it works without a pilot light. But you know what I love best about my gas dryer? For the same cost, gas can dry up to 3 times as many loads as my old electric dryer. And with the money I save using gas, I can buy more towels.
Natural gas appliances. Once you live with them, you just can't live without them.
For less than the average price of a new car, you can get 2 new Hyundai Excels. They're both dependable, have front-wheel drive, room for 5, and more standard features than any cars in their class. The only problem is getting them home. Hyundai. Cars that make sense.
See your nearest Twin City Hyundai dealer and get $1,000 cash back. Offer ends July 3rd.
Well, it's a gorgeous night out there right now. Partly cloudy, 73 degrees the current temp in the Twin Cities. Tonight, things could get interesting, though. Probably not till after 3 o'clock. And then tomorrow looks like back in the old dampness again. We'll take a look at the map for tomorrow. 80 for a high at best tomorrow. That funnel boundary stretched out over southeastern Minnesota will be aroused by an upper-level storm tomorrow, and that's why we're expecting some more rain and thunder to come through here. But then by Tuesday, we'll finally start to clear up. Tonight, partly cloudy, at least until about midnight. Clouds increasing, showers and storms after 3. Overnight low right around 68 degrees. And then tomorrow, 80 at best, mostly cloudy. Showers and thunderstorms probably later in the day, between 4 and about 7 o'clock. But it looks by Tuesday, things improve considerably if you're tired of the rain and the soggy weather. 84. And we're going to warm up nicely, it looks like, later in the week. A real warm air mass is going to try to snuggle in over us. And by Thursday, it's going to unsettle the atmosphere, and we could see some more storms in here, too. So
we probably shouldn't complain. We need the rain.
That's right, and they've been getting it where they desperately need it the most. So amen for that.
Okay, thanks, Sonny.
You bet.
Thanks.
Latin music and Mexican food were in abundance at Harriet Island today as families gathered to celebrate Tardeada de Familias. The festival celebrated the important role the Hispanic family plays in society. It featured arts and crafts, contests, several sporting tournaments, and a cook-off where cooks competed to create the best spicy Mexican soup known as menudo.
Just ahead in the Extra, traveling man Jim Douglas takes us for a summer tour of Minnesota's boundary waters in part 2 of a series.
He caught up with a couple who gets close to wild bears and wolves, armed only with a camera. We'll be right back.
Here at the NSP Control Center, we buy and sell electricity.
Looks like we need another 200 megawatts.
St. Louis, what's your price?
It's too high.
How about Kansas City?
One more way we keep your rates among the lowest in the country.
Kansas City's got our price.
But for more than 80 years, you've taken us for granted. And that's the way we want to keep it. NSP, someone you can count on.
If you like a truck that works hard and plays hard, you'll love a GMC. A GMC Sierra can pull up stumps or pull your boat up to the lake. A GMC S15 pickup works hard in the country, but give it a quick wash and it's ready to have some fun in the city. And the GMC S15 Jimmy loves to work as much as it loves to go out and play. If you like great trucks, great selection, and great deals, see your Vikingland GMC truck dealer today.
Here's this week's News 11 Express Run. Minneapolis Route 27 from Coon Rapids to downtown Minneapolis. Leaves Hanson and Coon Rapids Boulevard at 6:54. Coon Rapids Boulevard and Avocet at 6:58. Arrives downtown Minneapolis at 4th and Hennepin at 7:23. Join KARE-11 in the MTC for a free ride on the News 11 Express.
It's coming, the Aquatennial Mississippi River Showcase, featuring hot entertainment with the Pointer Sisters, Corbin Burnson, Sandy Duncan, and Christopher Reeve. Plus great family fun with the Oak Ridge Boys, Up With People, and the Smurfs, with great fireworks every night. It's on the Mississippi River, just off the Plymouth Bridge on Boom Island, July 14th through the 17th. Tickets are $5 in advance or $2 in the skipper pin the night of the show. For information, call City Line at 645-6060 or Ticketmaster at 989-5151.
Tonight in the Extra, a man and woman have teamed up not only as partners in love, but in work as well.
These days, the photography team spends their time taking pictures at the scenic boundary waters. And as traveling man Jim Douglas found out, when it comes to their work, they know no boundaries.
Where wilderness is protected by federal law, 2 photographers chart a course to success.
We could still make down to Obish in one day then. Through Jasper.
If the wind isn't bad, yeah.
It'd be a hard route to come back, but it would get us into some different territory than we've been in before.
This is the Boundary Waters canoe area. You can see why some folks think it's heaven on earth. Craig and Nadine Blacklock think so. You'll find them by listening for the voices of nature. The Blacklocks celebrate the wilderness in clear, vivid pictures.
Nadine photographed a wonderful creamy colored sunrise. It was so magical. It was absolutely quiet and perfect. And that's the epitome of the boundary waters.
Craig bought his first camera when he was 6 years old. 10 years later, he sold a picture to Time Life Books. It was a beaver slapping its tail on water. That did it. With that sale, Craig Blacklock was hooked.
I had a very difficult time functioning in a standard job. I have had jobs where I've had to do that, and all I did was daydream of doing this while I was doing that.
The Blacklocks moved to the North Woods of Minnesota in 1975 to be closer to this enchanted wilderness, but they didn't team up as photographers until '82. For 2 years, they hiked and paddled through this magical land, recording its life. I wondered if they ever disagreed about what makes a good picture.
There are just times when there'll be a subject that Craig is really excited about, and he'll spend hours working with something as the light's changing, and I can't see why he's bothering to spend all this time and film on it.
Patience is an important tool. They've waited hours for just the right light.
you feel privileged. You know, you feel this is pretty special, and it may not happen again for years.
They say this is the land of 10,000 lakes. The Blacklocks figure they paddle a few hundred of them. The product of all that paddling and picture taking was a beautiful book they called Border Country. But their work is not done. There's another book in the works and a lot more lakes waiting for the black box.
You never know what you're going to find around the corner, and it's changing all the time. I mean, it's bright sun, it's the fog, it's the rain, it's the wind. You don't know what you're going to get, but you take whatever you get.
Craig Blacklock plans to paddle around Lake Superior for the next year and a half to photograph shoreline for his next book. Meanwhile, Nadine is continuing work on a book called The Hidden Forest.
Still ahead, Pete Rose gets a reprieve. Randy Shaver will have details in sports.
Plus, the Twins and a 4-game series against Boston on a good note. We'll be right back.
Why have over 100,000 customers driven hundreds of miles to buy from Towsley Ford?
And Towsley Subaru, the best selection in the Northland.
Quality service with free loaner cars.
And low prices.
Towsley's vast buying power has made possible this special purchase of the world's best-selling Escort for only $59.95. Over 100 to choose from for only $59.95.
Or lease a new '89 Subaru for only $119 a month.
No matter where you live, it's worth the trip to either location, Towsley Ford
and Towsley Subaru, White Bear Lake.
On the next Cosby Show.
I'll just take a couple of puffs and then I'll put it out. Well, they have to be tiny, tiny puffs, and you have to blow the smoke directly into this thing and spray immediately afterwards.
But where there's smoke, there's Rudy.
You know, cigars aren't good for you. They make your breath stink, your lungs dirty, and then you die.
Come on.
None of my friends smoke.
Monday at 4:30 on TV 11.
So you're looking for something to do this 4th of July, and you don't know where to go. Well, follow the crowds down to the biggest blast of the summer. It's the Taste of Minnesota Coca-Cola Fireworks Spectacular, presented by KARE-11 TV and Most Music 99.5 WLOL. Don't miss the best fireworks of the summer, and don't forget your radio, because WLOL will simulcast the music in stereo. Catch the Coca-Cola Fireworks Spectacular at the Minnesota State Capitol Tuesday, July 4th, brought to you by WLOL and KARE-11.
Hi, this is Tom Ryther. Come join the celebration and support the best in amateur athletics at the Minnesota Star of the North Games, June 16th through the 25th. You can hit the water with the divers, the road with the cyclists, the links with the golfers, and catch the excitement of more than a dozen other sports. So come out and show your support for the Midwest Best, June 16th through the 25th. For ticket information, write to Star of the North Games, Post Office Box 65708, St. Paul, Minnesota 55165.
Accordingly, I here today grant Peter Edward Rose's motion for a temporary restraining order.
And with that, Pete Rose wins the first battle in what promises to be a long and ugly war with Baseball Commissioner Bart Giamatti. Today, Judge Nadal ruled in Rose's favor, stopping tomorrow's scheduled hearing between the Reds manager and Giamatti. The hearing concerned Rose's alleged gambling on baseball. Rose claims Giamatti has already prejudged him guilty. And Judge Nadal agreed using a letter written by Giamatti in April as proof. In the letter, Giamatti praises Ron Peters, who testified against Rose. The letter was sent from Giamatti to a judge in Cincinnati. Nadal read part of the letter today.
I am satisfied Mr. Peters has been candid, forthright, and truthful with my special counsel. It therefore appears to this court at this point that the Commissioner of Baseball has prejudged Peter Edward Rose.
Today's decision delays a hearing on the gambling charges until July 6th. At that time, both Rose and Giamatti are expected to testify. Rose was asked if he was surprised by today's ruling.
Surprised? Hell no, I wasn't surprised.
I just want to read you guys articles in about 2 weeks. The same guys who wrote the last couple of days. I want to read those articles.
What will they say?
I don't know what they're going to say. Just like they didn't know what they were saying the last 2 days.
Baseball Commissioner Giamatti released a statement saying he regrets the judge's decision and his office will fight this matter tooth and nail. It should be noted, though this has been somewhat overplayed, Judge Nadal obviously resides in Cincinnati, where Rose is idolized. and he is an elected official who's up for re-election next year. The Twins arrived home from Boston just over a half hour ago. We were there to greet him at Twin Cities International. They beat the Red Sox today, closing out a successful 5-2 road trip, and are within striking distance of Oakland. The A's, of course, are coming to town and will start a series tomorrow night. The Twins are 8.5 games behind Oakland in the West, with 3 games against the A's at the Dome Monday through Wednesday, and the Twins will need a sweep to make some things happen. They made some things happen today in Boston. The old double steal. Gary Gaetti scores after Randy Bush broke for second, 2-0 Twins. Gene Larkin makes it 3-0 in the first inning with his RBI single, scoring Randy Bush, and the Twins had enough offense today to make it last. Alan Anderson worked his way out of jams all afternoon. Gary Gaetti with a heads-up defensive play. Anderson goes 8 innings, giving up 6 hits for his 9th victory. Al Newman started in left field for the injured Dan Gladden. Provided some offense, 3 for 5 at the plate, drives home 2 there. The Twins win it by a score of 7-0. When Oakland shows up tomorrow night, they'll have Ricky Henderson ready at the leadoff spot. Today, Henderson did it all against Toronto. He was 3 for 3 at the plate, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored with 3 stolen bases. Here he is, stealing second against the Blue Jays today. 28 stolen bases on the year. Dave Henderson loves having Ricky hit in front of him because now Dave can drive home the speedy Ricky, just like this. The A's beat Toronto 6-3. Cleveland's Joe Carter did not hit a home run in his first at-bat against Texas tonight. Carter had hit 3 home runs in a row last night and was hoping to tie a Major League record with 4 consecutive home runs, but it didn't happen tonight. If you want to see a home run, though, check this one. Kevin Mitchell in the second deck at San Diego. His 25th of the year. He's only the 7th player ever to hit a home run in the second deck. Scores now. San Diego 10-7. Orel Hershiser shutout number 4 for the Dodgers. The Cubs and the Mets are tied for first place in the National League East. Houston beat Atlanta and Pittsburgh over St. Louis. American League, the Twins again win 7-0. Oakland 6-3. California over Baltimore. Milwaukee wins. Dan Plesac saved number 18. Seattle over Detroit. The Yankees a winner, and Nolan Ryan lost a no-hitter with 2 outs in the 8th inning for Texas tonight. Holds on to win it 4-2. St. Paul Derby turned into a runaway down the stretch as Clever Trevor takes the Derby title at Canterbury tonight. Clever Trevor, ridden by Don Pettinger, pulled away from the field of 7 after leading the entire race. Tricky Creek was second, and Music Mercedes was third. Clever Trevor wins the St. Paul Derby. In golf, Steve Jones won the Canadian Open, catching unknown Clark Burrows at the 17th hole and then passing him. You see, Jones sank a birdie putt here at 17, while Burrows had bogeyed. The 2-stroke difference held up. Jones finished 17 under, Burrows 15. In auto racing, Bill Elliott won the Michigan 400 in Brooklyn, Michigan today. Elliott in the red car averaged 139 miles per hour. Rusty Wallace was second, and Darrell Waltrip finished third. In notes, John Snyder of Edinburgh won the Tate Mark Pro-Am Golf Tournament today at Southview Country Club. He finished at 11 under par, shooting a 69 today, 2 shots ahead of John Chafee out of Austin, who also shot a 69 today. Again, the Twins in Oakland. Big 3-game series starting tomorrow night. And we'll see Mike Moore on the mound for the Oakland A's against the Twins.
Maybe they're on a rebound, huh?
Yeah, get the people out there and support the Twins tomorrow night. 3 wins, and they'll be 5.5 back. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Thanks a lot.
You bet.
Thanks, Randy. Still ahead on News 11, jazz lovers flock to Uptown to get an earful of soothing sounds.
We'll show you what you might have missed or been on hand for when News 11 continues.
When I took the Mazda Challenge and compared Mazda trucks to the competition, I found they'd been rated the most reliable truck sold in America. The Mazda no-deductible warranty is the best in the truck business. And right now, you can get $750 cash back from Mazda on all their trucks. But to get your $750, you better hurry before the Mazda Challenge rolls away for good.
See your local Mazda dealer today and get $750 cash back on all trucks.
Here she is, boys! Here she is, world! Here's Rose!
She put her daughter on the stage, but she saved the spotlight for herself.
And now, light the light!
Dine Daily is Rose in Gypsy, the legendary musical live on stage.
Live at the historic Orpheum Theater, June 27th through July 2nd. Call 989-5151 to charge your tickets.
Time for me!
It's Time's turn now. Gypsy.
We're coming to you from the 18th hole, where News 11's Jeff Passolt is lining up an important putt. Should he make it, Jeff will have a good chance at qualifying for the 1989 Tom Thumb Mini Golf Classic.
Eyes over the ball, nice and easy.
Here he goes.
Level swing and...
Ooh, so close. You too could be in the Tom Thumb Mini Golf Classic. Give it a shot. For details, just drop by your local Tom Thumb store. The fun starts June 25th.
Guess I'm going to have to keep practicing.